equipment are switched to silent mode so that they don't disturb the meeting today. There is no fire test planned. If there is an emergency evacuation, then please take instruction from the town hall staff who are on the floor here in the gallery, and the assembly point is to the square. I'm now to ask each of the members of the Strategy and Resources Policy Committee to introduce themselves, so that's the councillors, and then I'll ask the officers to introduce themselves who are also here today. So starting on my left.
Councillor Douglas Johnson, fellow Green Councillor here and Chair of the Housing Committee. Councillor Deputy Chair of the Economic Development Skills Policy Committee, substituting it for Ben School, Chair of the Transport Regeneration Committee.
Fran Belvin, Deputy Leader of the Council and Labour Councillors of both Heart Boards. Councillor Dawn Dale, Leader Councillor of Sheffield and Brasside and Chair of Education, Children and Families Policy. Councillor Zahir Nice, Councillor from the Donald Ward, and also Chair of the Finance Committee.
Councillor Chubb. That's £5, I think you've already had. Councillor Johnson, Liberal Cabinet, Dawn Toffey, and Chair of the
Sheffield Mohammed, Road Leader and Ecclesall Council. My name is Martin Smith, I'm Councillor for the Heart Board and Chair of the Economic Development Skills and Culture Committee. Councillor Richard Williams, Member of the Stanton Ward and Chair of the Communities Arts and Leisure Policy Committee.
Thank you, everybody. I'm now just asking the officers who are present to introduce themselves, and I'll start on the right-hand side, if that's all right, Alexis.
Town hall protest, taxi drivers.
Andrew Jones, Director of Children's Services.
Tony Copeland, Interim Director of Finance and Commercial Services.
Craig Rogerson, Democratic Services. David Hollis, Interim General Counsel.
James Anderson, Director of Policy and Democratic Engagement.
Kate Joseph, Chief Executive.
Craig Bell, Director of Public Health.
Thanks, everyone. Okay, so item 1 is apologies for absence. As already heard, Councillor Ben School is unable to attend today. Are there any other apologies to report today?
Chair, if I may, I just like to query on a point of order. Substitution of Councillor Miskel with Councillor Correct. I'm not entirely clear what rules this has been done under. I appreciate that the AGM principle that substitution would now be allowed at SNR, which I'm quite happy with. There was something in one of the proposed rules about the replacement having adequate knowledge of the portfolio for the chair they are substituting for. Has that all been applied in this case? I'm particularly conscious that a large number of people have come to the meeting on an issue relating to the Transport Committee. It's slightly unfortunate there's no member of the Transport Committee present today. But has that principle of adequate knowledge of the portfolio been applied in the case of the substitution of not as my question?
Yes, I'll ask David Robinson to just jump in there, but my position is yes.
It was considered, I was asked to approve the substitution, and I considered that point and considered that out of the substitutions, Councillor Bragg was the one with the most knowledge of that committee.
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. So, item 2, exclusion of the public press, as already said, no reason to do that today. Item 3, declarations of interest. Are there any members who wish to declare an interest in any of the items of business on the agenda? If there are, please refer to the item of business and state what the interest is. Okay, excellent. Item 4, the minutes of the previous meetings. three sets of minutes to take a look at. Meetings of the Strategy and Resources Policy Committee on the 5th of March and the 9th of April. And we're also taking a look at the minutes of the first meeting on 17th of May, which is an additional note that's been circulated. So taking the first two, March 15th and 19th of April, are members happy to approve them as a correct record of the meetings that were held? Seeing nods. Excellent. Okay. With regard to the first meeting of this musical year of the Strategy and Resources Policy Committee, that took place on the 17th of May. And there are two matters arising, which we just need to note and seek approval for. The first is the addition of the following appointments to the Charity Trustees Subcommittee, and that is Councillor Naz, the Deputy Chair, and the name substitutes Councillors Lee and Riddler. And then second, to agree an appointment delegation to the Monitoring Officer in consultation with the political with in respect to appointing members to subcommittees. I know that sounds incredibly high. Is everyone happy with those matters arising? David?
It's just one clarification on the need for that delegation. There was one given by full council in relation to appointment to committees where there are vacancies, but as a matter of construction of the constitutional law, that delegation does not apply to subcommittees. That delegation has to come from the parent committee, so it's just to replicate that delegation.
Okay, thank you, David. So with that clarification, people have with the approval for those two matters arising. Okay, thank you all. Right, item 5, public questions and petitions. We've received 4 questions and 1 petition from the public on issues to be discussed. And I should make everyone aware that there are 30 minutes set aside in the meeting agenda for this particular item. So the first person we're going to hear from is Ibrahim Hussain, who is bringing a petition to STTA. Yes, and I believe we're going forward to the desk order for exactly on there you should see a person, I think it's one on the right hand side, you can press that to the microphone.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the opportunity. My petition is in 3 parts. Chair, and my petition is 1 with regards to the opening of the reception of the licensing office. Just to update you that myself and the other trade reps have met, GMB and my agency have met with the head of licensing officers, and we have arranged further meetings to go further into detail and explore how we can open the reception area, which is much needed. We had a very challenging meeting and discussion, and officers are going to come back with more options and also be accounting on how we can progress further. So that's one update. As for the other part of the petition here today, it's also on the additional independent food test centres, and we need to explore that further. We've been asking that for some time, and that consideration needs to be given as well. But the main objective of the petition in its format is that the clean air CAS is not before you today. I have had a number of people contact me over the weeks and months. One guy I spoke to last night, a driver, July in February. He has just received a response from the CAS team after 4 months that
That's the best I can do.
Chair, that is very, very unacceptable. The resources provided to the CAS team, or the resources it has, is poor. It's not managed as it should be. And what's happening is that the drivers are struggling to find vehicles which they can have licensed with the new criteria that's coming into place as well. It's not easy to go and purchase a vehicle. The problem is, one, the CAS team needs to be expanded. They need to respond to people's applications fast. The other problem is that the exemption period, which is then given 90 days, it's not viable. It needs to be increased furthermore to give drivers the opportunity to go and purchase a vehicle and then get a license as well. One of the other issues is also with the approved grant scheme. One, the grant scheme is very low. The vehicle prices has gone up by 60% or more, and you're well aware that the cost of vehicles is high. So what we're getting for e-license is £4,000, and for the retrospective or under scheme replacement of vehicle, we get 5,000. If you get a loan, it's 6,000. The loan as well, the companies aren't responding to the driver's queries, or if they are, they're charging 12% as well, which is what's happened is in all this, the driver is stupid. So what the whole plea before you is one, to look into this with the utmost priority, with the CASP, and escalate and pay the payments to the drivers ASAP, because once the application is approved, it is taking forever to get the payments out to the drivers. That is absolutely unacceptable. So that's one thing you can take away. Second thing you can take away is also that the 90-day exemption is not viable. The drivers cannot find vehicles. So that needs expanding a lot more further than where we are as well. And also the queries and how the team responds to drivers, that all needs addressing. And I think it shouldn't take very long to address. It needs immediately addressing in its whole entirety. Also the funding from the fines which the council is now receiving, it's in the press reported, if I'm able to correct me, it's in the region of £200,000 plus. Now, is that true or not? I don't know. In a month where you have gone live, my question is, where will that money will go to be spent? If we are going to get pigeons in the sense, I think that money should come back to the drivers, because drivers are the ones in this, are the ones which are affected. They are having to replace their vehicles. So in all this, if I put it in a nutshell, the driver concept has not been considered, but you want a driver to fork out and change and have a clean air. It doesn't work one way, it works two ways. The council has to be much more forthcoming and come forward and address these issues. I think it's good to have this meeting, but at the end of the day, what matters, members and the chair, is that we get results. Results will matter. So I think everyone is very much concerned. The way the whole construction of the clean air zone, the whole project, I think it's not being thought out properly. But unfortunately, we are where we are on this. So I hope you can take this petition on board. I wish Councillor Ben Bristol was here today to listen and respond to this. I know he's new in this post, but this is a very challenging time for all of us. And I hope as a new leader, a new team, you take the whole matter before you and consider our request. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hussain. And I'm sure that Councillor Bristol will be watching in. He's unable to be here today. We'll be watching this subsequently. Let me just address some of the points that you've raised in your position. On the first two parts, the improvements to the licensing services
appalling situation in Page Road is getting worse, and is now coming up to something of a big failure in capital letters. The Tackle officer that we saw over the weekend, last week as well, we're seeing council strategy and the approach that's been taken by the council and the police and other authorities with regards to Page Road is very detrimental, is not working, and the strategic direction of where it's heading is a big failure, and it's really upsetting for a person like me, being born and raised in that area and working in that area with community groups, and now watching our most vulnerable and our elderly suffer in such a way where they have nobody to talk to and nobody to express their feelings to. I'm asking the council today, under a new leadership, to sit down with groups like mine, which is the Part Neighbourhood Network, to sit down and hold an active dialogue and discussion again in the wake of Sir Mark Lowcock's report, to sit down and see if we can work together as residents with the authorities to have a meaningful solution. And by simply throwing money at Page Road, it's not resolving the issues. The issues are getting worse and worse day by day. So I would ask that this committee to take some leadership and take some ownership of that issue and have a new approach and new strategy for Page Road. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming today to us. Thank you for your work in the community. But let me say, coming in as a new leader, I want to be looking at issues with a fresh pair of eyes. It's clear, you know more than anyone, that there are significant issues in Page Road related to severe deprivation and inequality in the community. That is not and cannot ever be acceptable, and as a city we can't keep on doing the same thing if it's not delivering for residents, and the people in Page Road deserve better. I'm looking for new ideas in order to deliver a comprehensive strategy to deal with the challenges that you're talking about, and I'm greatly welcome the idea and input of yourself and the colleagues in the third party neighbourhood network for co-designing solutions. That's spirit of partnership and co-designing solutions has to be the way in which we're approaching difficult and complicated issues like this. In the immediate context, the Council's Page Road Neighbourhood Service has created an 18-point action plan, which you may be familiar with, based on feedback from regular meetings with local residents and partners locally. And that's to raise the overall standards in the area to make Page Road a more sustainable community. The action plan wants to have finding solutions to issues to do with environmental and pest issues, overcrowding, and for property conditions. We'll make sure that you get a full copy of this answer so you can take a look at it, and I would genuinely like to have your feedback on it once you have that. The service, you know, is based at heart of Page Road and acts as a central hub. It's designed to join up many of the services that work in the area as one Page Road team. I am clear that in order to find solutions here, we do need strong dialogue with all local partners and stakeholders such as yourself, working together to find solutions, to share intelligence and to ensure joined up response to local issues. There are strong links with local voluntary aid groups and community groups, and those relationships are fundamental to make progress here. We do need to go a little further, and I repeat what I said, I would welcome your views, your input from you and colleagues in third party Page Road, and would welcome your input to co-design solutions as we go forward to try to find existing and new find solutions to existing and new issues. But go back to what I said, the situation can't be acceptable, it's got to reform, and to look at this with a fresh pair of eyes, and you've got that from me. So thank you. The next question up, I believe, is Mr. Raymond from Sheffield Taxis Trade Association.
Thank you, Chairman of the Council, and congratulations on the position. I'm with respect to management of the positions that production very well. I'm hoping all the people of Sheffield has, if you do this as well. We are here because we
are concerned with the clean air zone and generally regarding tax issues which are already solved. You know, sent to yourself, and I've been asked some questions of the legality on that. I've been placed on the floor 21 questions. But it's important that the voice of taxi drivers are heard. We saw residents of Sheffield. Quality of air is important to everyone, and from the onset, these drivers, we have a consultation with our members, called 100% Up, and we come up with a solution for Sheffield. And it's a shame, it's actually sad, and it's concerning as well. Had the council listened to us back in 2016, 2017, 2018, and I've got email trails of all this, it's all in emails, and various meetings with various members, sometimes on Saturday as well. The solution was always reloading taxis. And you put stuff to it all the way until after the 3 years was implemented. Now you give us 3 months in February to replace our vehicles with these vehicles that are cheaper to buy. Well, they're cheaper, it's a lot, I wish they're cheaper, are they affordable anymore? Not really. These things had the council listened to us, from the onset, and there was good feedback, whether I met privately at all 3 parties. I can remember we meeting meetings on yourself on 2 occasions, and we meeting with events and labour members as well. They all were okay on the idea. Not really to reject those who concerned this about wheelchair users, and I said, look, this is the type of vehicle that wheelchair users purchase for their personal use, so I would really be concerned, and it's a better journey. Passengers, and especially for drivers, now those particular vehicles, then pre-COVID, they were retailing revenue from 18 to 25,000 pounds. Now that same vehicle is now paying for 40,000 pounds, around 38,000. Now you burden us with 2 things, and we gave you solutions. You're not sticking around, you want us. How is that? How is that fair? How is that fair with these drivers? These drivers, we are not militant. We don't understand things, and it just shows the support. It's not support for me, it's support for their families. So it's not these individual drivers that are selling my fellow drivers, it's our families. Many drivers have already moved over to different occupations where they can. Many drivers have moved over to car hire. So we started off at 858 pounds at one point, 58, 57, and that's nearly 500, all the way down to 500. And that number will dwindle because many of these drivers can't afford to replace their vehicles. Many of these drivers have been excluded in these conditions, and every time we raise concerns about those conditions, we never got a decline. And it's all been delayed, actually, and delayed, and eventually we have a meeting with them. Oh, yeah, we forgot about that, we forgot to do this. That's the kind of attitude we've had. So we're asking for you, Mr. Council, to delay. I mean, if you ask these drivers, they want a council altogether, with you, members of the local council, to take money from the government. What we're asking for at least be sensible, at least be fair. Give us an exemption from next year, 2024, June 2024, that's what we're asking for. And hopefully that will give you a cleaner fleet, a little bit more affordable as well, because some of the used vehicles, their prices are now retailing the price of what we would both purchase brand new, and your vehicles are there. For example, a 2018 vehicle from our brother's purchase cost him just over 20,000. Had it been 4 years ago, we go brand new for 20,000. So this is the kind of pressure you put. So I can't let that for grand, which is 1 year old. The use one for us, and there's other shop here as well. And then on the left one wants to replace the vehicle with the Euro 5 and get retrofitted. He'd also been excluded because it's been 100 years. So your conditions are not fair, and we've never ever had a satisfactory answer from the team because they've had this bullish behaviour towards the scheme of retrofitting for other choice. What's the point of consultation? If the council and the office aren't listening. So we are requesting some things. Again, extend this exemption period next year, and also look at the handling of the CAD scheme altogether. Is this right? How they do their job right? How they do their due diligence? I'll give an example there when we talk about reloading vehicles and the availability. So the officer comes back with, there's also a vehicle. I've checked, there's not. So maybe misunderstanding on behalf of the officers, maybe misunderstanding on behalf of the person who gave that information. Maybe there have been no smart. Then it comes back with me to the they said to be available with one supplier. And looked at those, I've sent out, I don't know if it comes with this, I did attach an email. There's something about 20 emails and that, brand new, and they'll get 2 out of time from, they'll get 2 used vehicles. So again, that's for evidence of this information. I think that's in itself is enough to bring those standards, to try and ask for to try and influence some kind of investigation into where it's gone wrong. Because these drivers, they've got livelihoods, they've got honestly, they've got mortgages, to pay for. They've got families. Yes, we appreciate clean air zone. In the idea that we reduce emissions, we could have been a clean air plan, just like Liverpool, like people in Liverpool, I apologise again, but they got it right. And they just, that tax drive, they particularly say that statement, our tax drivers are not afford to upgrade to cost of living. So why are Sheffield taxi drivers do different? They're not all visiting Liverpool. Liverpool is mostly coming for taxi drivers, especially in the evening. You go out to Sheffield in the evening after 9 o'clock, during the week, there's nothing happening for taxi drivers. These drivers are waiting on rights to 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours sometimes. Sometimes going home empty, putting off taxi night off outside that group, so not be enough customers. Some walks, look at conditions and house to walk. So how do we maintain that? We do discussion, we not. So again, we request that we extend the exemption, look into or initiate an investigation into handling of clean air zone as a whole, where we cannot have democracy control, where we cannot take on board. And that's the clean air zone there. So in relation to the pricing, extremely disappointed with the STTA management, where I was dealing with it, both the chief pricing officer, including in that maybe the chief pricing officer at the time. So chief pricing at the time when we spoke about how can we resolve this issue about clean air zone. We spoke to him and I said he was for it, and all of a sudden he changed tune. He's like, no, it's all right, we don't need this. Again, that's the kind of thing we face. So going back to pricing, so again we have expressed our concerns in relation to opening of the office. Why not? That's what we pay for. That's what we've paid for all this time. It's supposed to be on profit making and any money should be spent on the office. Now, giving back our personal example STTA, we deal with approximately 20 cases every week. This morning I know the law here, I think, I like response here. Drivers are going to get forms, everybody has access to a quick track home. I went to the top, medical form for one driver, which I'm going to do later on after see him. And the one driver you need to transfer from me to my office, so I'm going to go to my office to help drivers what I think should be doing. That's what we did for. So please have this office open as much as possible. Less than 30 hours. We are a voluntary organisation. We don't charge them because we saw voluntary most of it. It's very rare. We saw very little when we train and I've discussed with this in the meeting. It's unfair. It's unfair with these guys not having to meet with my office. No, my office is walking to the office. So please everyone sit down at this moment definitely because we need action. In particular to council, we implemented from from back in the we need some kind of decision. These drivers, now that they've tested their ability, they want to come back spikes or anything, they come back not doing home for school contracts. And that concerns me because they should have been transferred for a long time. They need that service, they need that regular routine. And by instructing it, it would be unfair to them. This is why we don't believe in the this is why we don't take this kind of action, because we feel that the city as well, unfortunately, the way the conduct has been, with the way home has been, it's nothing but to do this. So please, just consider your action and please listen to these drivers. I know we plead with the decision makers and officers as well, black posts, please talk to us. We are an organisation with membership. We are a membership-led organisation. If our plastic slabs membership, I might not want the Taxis Council. Thank you very much for listening. Please take on board what we said.
Thank you very much, Mr. Raymond, for your questions. This doesn't fall on deaf ears. You do an excellent and important job in speaking up for your members, and I know how tenaciously you have their back. I want to thank you for not only attending today, but for making the time available last week for the meeting that we had with yourself and Councillor Miscall. It was hugely appreciated to be able to talk through many of the issues that you've transport team have provided a detailed set of responses to your questions, which will be provided to you. When you've had a chance to digest them, I would be happy, Councillor Misball and I would be happy to have that follow-up conversation to get your feedback on them. Let me just take a step back from the detail for a second, though, because I think there are some things that we all do agree on, and there are some things that I would be anxious to the council to respond to in what you said, and some that are not. Clean air is a fundamental right. 1 in 20 deaths is attributable in some form to air pollution. Let us all be clear, that is not okay. No, that is not up for dispute today by anyone in this room. We need a society-wide response to this, but this has to be done fairly. It is of course important to remember that the clean air zones were mandated by this government, and the timing of this is far from ideal, not least because of the serious cost of living crisis that affects us all, and I know is affecting you very much. This has always been in our minds, it is today, and it's why the council and the previous leadership team successfully negotiated enhanced support and an additional delay of several months specifically for Hackney Carriage taxis. Of course, this doesn't go as far as we would like and as you would like. We will continue to bang the drum for Sheffield drivers so that we get the best funding available from the government. To do so successfully, I'll repeat the point that I made last week, that we need evidence. We need to build a very clear evidence base for more financial support. And what you were describing, what we've heard today and the last week, in the press, shows the limitations of the government support that has been provided. We will keep challenging government for better support and bring about as much flexibility as we can to ensure that the best support is provided to you in the fairest way. As you have identified in your questions and your comments relating to the petition, there are, however, things that are within the gift of Sheffield City Council. The need for providing clarity about information to do with financial support, the need to respond quickly, the need for there to be a high quality customer service mindset, and the need for the council to listen to what people are telling us, what you are telling us, and to respond accordingly. And there are a number of issues that have been raised today that are of concern to me that I will be taking up with senior officers about this. It is clear that you and your members are not satisfied with the council in this regard on many of those points. So as leader, I will take that up with Transport Service, as, let's be clear, there is a clear discrepancy between what you and your members feel they are experiencing and how it's intended to be experiencing. It's the job of all of us to close that gap. It's a problem that exists, and it's the job of all of us to close that gap. What I won't do now, or whilst I'm leader of this council, is make promises that I can't keep. And so I want to be crystal clear with you all that the government's joint air quality unit, which oversees the clean air zone, has said that Sheffield City Council could not extend the exemption beyond the 5th of June. So that, I'm not going to say we're going to be able to sort something out for this coming weekend. The joint air quality unit, which is the government, parts of government, which oversees clean air zones, has been clear with the council, it could not extend the exemption beyond the 5th. Thank you for coming here today, for speaking to us, for putting these questions. We will take them away. We will come back to you through your representatives. And I'm happy to continue this dialogue. Once you have those detailed answers in front of you to all of those questions, I would genuinely like to hear your responses to them to see if that gap between what is understood to be the situation from within the council and as you experience it as drivers, it remains. That's the kind of dialogue we need to get into to work through these issues. So, this has not been on our ears. We will keep on listening, and I hope that this is the there are two more questions that have been tabled. The first was from
That's totally unfair.
who I understand is not
It's totally unfair. You know other cities can do it, why can't Sheffield do it?
I've set out my response.
It's totally unfair. You know other cities are working at Leeds, Manchester, why can't Sheffield do it?
That's the ongoing
It's
dialogue.
deliberately money-making scheme, that's all it is.
It's a scam. It's all a scam. All a scam.
It's a deliberate money-making scheme, and we're going to lose our houses, and we're going to be relying on the government benefits because of people like yourself are claiming funds from central government. And you're allowed to take that money and they force you to implement these policies by the central government. And your senior officers working here has mentioned that, I'm not going to name it. He says that you claim that money and you implemented the zone, and now I can lose my house, my livelihood, and my kids are saying what this council is. The future generations do not like your policies. And in one day, these new generations will not have you in the power anymore.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in light of passion and concern, I was wondering whether you could urgently just write to government and reflect the views that we expressed here. It's been recorded, I'm sure we can send them a link and just say, you know, at least make the case urgently, because the next transport committee meeting is not till the 14th of June, and clearly the drivers up there need an answer, so I'm wondering whether you're willing to at least commit to writing as a leader of council.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. I would continue to make the case today and in private, in conversations, that the way forward on this has to be with evidence-based decision making. I met with the Taxis Trade Association and have taken very seriously what has been presented in order to take on board the evidence that you are living right now, so that we can then use that to make the case to the Joint Air Policy Unit, and that internally within this
I have a family carriage. I'm driving it as a private vehicle as well. I can't afford to buy another one. That's your evidence. My private vehicle is there, so why can't I? That's evidence there. I use it as a private vehicle. You want me to go buy another vehicle to drive? I can't afford another vehicle. I drive my vehicle as a private vehicle as well. And you've got exemption for private vehicles. I'm trying to apply for a private exemption. The council or whoever I'm driving to will clean it and say that oh, quite exemption because you're a hacking carriage. I'm not having carriage 24/7. I've got family as well. I've got to take my children to school. I've got to take them to Allen University, to town. I've got to come into the hospital town to pay £10. I'm already paying student fees. I'm already paying student loans, everything for my children already. And you just put another burden on us. That's just one example I can give you. That's the evidence there. Obviously, that's just one answer. There's probably 100 million that whoever wants to say that. I use it as a private vehicle.
And when I'm talking about evidence, I'm talking about conversations.
So you know you ask for evidence, so obviously I'm going to
No, I know. And I'm saying that this is exactly the kind of evidence I'm talking about. I'm not talking about big, exhaustive data gathering exercise. I'm talking about listening very hard.
Where do you get your evidence from? Where do you get your evidence from, though?
All of you.
Regarding everything, who provides you with your evidence? Is it somebody that's aligned with what you want to do? Is it truly independent? Something that can represent these people here?
And that's the evidence I can put forward to you.
That's fine.
The bank of interest rates are going up.
Unfortunately, it can only work if we're able to just have a bit of order. So, thank you for listening patiently to me. I appreciate I gave a long response here. But just to be completely clear what I mean by evidence, it's about listening to people and then doing something with that information. And a suggestion that we put forward from this committee that we can make that case to government. We can internally be reflecting on what more can be done to improve the experience that you are having and to see what support is available. Okay? There were a number of questions that were tabled in advance that we have answered. And I believe that most of the points that people are raising from the public practicality have been covered in those points. So I will probably suggest we make a bit of progress here.
Can I do more question a single point?
Please. I just finish my point for a second. There's a question from Aaron Sen. Mr. Raymond, are you asking that on his behalf, or have you covered it in your questions?
I don't exactly believe you did mention the question to me, but I have no idea what is asked.
It broadly touched upon the issues that you discussed, so we'll make sure that there's a full response provided on that. Okay.
If there is time to use the time.
Yes. We have the mechanism for these meetings is that questions are tabled in advance, and through the representative of many there were questions that were tabled, so we'll make sure that response goes out. This is the structure of this meeting. We can't get into a debate, but hopefully we all feel that through your representatives, you've had a chance.
Response based on some of the information that you've put across. A very brief question.
We aren't going to make progress, I'm afraid, because there are a lot of other business that we do need to join on. Okay. So,
I've tried contacting via
Strike. That's what we need.
Thank you all.
All of strike. Strike, weekend. Strike.
Further action.
No school run. No school run. No school run. Next week, strike. They've got money and they're going to want to support the taxi drivers. They've got the power. They've got money. They've got money. They have money. They're still being wanted. Strike, strike. Shame on you. Shame on you. Just use some common sense.
Yes.
Represent the people, not yourselves.
Very hard now.
Strike! Change!
Have a good time, mate. Thank you. that was Sheffield Town Hall. I've just had all these taxi drivers protesting about the congestion charges.
Watch out for that. Thank you very much.
No worries, mate. No worries.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
It's been a good day.
No, keep up the fight.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah,
Keep
we
up.
have to.
Well done, mate. So yeah, Sheffield Town Council, taxi drivers protesting about the £10 daily charge that's going to come in next week. Entered the town hall, protesting the foyer downstairs for about 20 minutes, and then they've gone into the actual town hall and interrupted the council meeting. Obviously nothing gets resolved. They've made their point. So yeah, that's it for that one. Cheers, Marcus. Thank you, mate. Also, just about to have a Sheffield Wednesday celebration on their promotion. I'm going to leave that one there. Thank you all guys for tuning in. I'll try and upload some other clips that I got from earlier on. Might go live for the Sheffield Wednesday celebrations in a bit. Thank you very much. Take care all. Cheers.